understand where you can get information beside me, beside Graham's book that we're using, beside the wheel. And so there's lots of different places you can find elementary games. So if you're going to plan or teach at Cape Fear and he says you can teach whatever you want, and you're like, well, what should I teach? Where should I look? I mean, I can give you ideas. You're going to get ideas from class. But there's a lot of really good sources on Twitter. There's good sources on PE Central, and also Dynamic PE ASAP and YouTube. So looking at Twitter, my Twitter account, I did some retweets to show you some cool elementary PE stuff. This one is from actually my class. It was PED 3 or HFE 386. This is about 6 or 7 years ago. And so we're teaching them some games, elementary games. So this one is Time Machine. So getting across to the other side with a partner, and they have to jump from hoop all the way to the other side. Same concept, now with a group of 3, called loggers. So these are 2 games that you could administer when you teach. Easy. Horse, gallop, and hay. So they have to gallop to one side, grab a penny, and then trade with someone else. You can do fun games with the noodles and have them just practice rolling it with each other. Frogs across the pond, you're putting a poly spot in front of the person. They have to go from spot to spot. So these would be cooperative games. 2 is a company, 3 is a crowd. So basically 2 people hook up, and then you have a chaser and fleer. One person's chasing, one person's fleeing. What you have to do is hook onto another group, and then the person that's on the outside, they go off, and then now they're the person that's trying to get tagged, or they're the one that's fleeing away from the tagger. So that's called 2 is a company, 3 is a crowd. Battlefield, I don't know if we can call it Battlefield anymore, but this game is where you set up mats, and you see there's people behind those mats. So this would be an aiming game, a throwing game. So this would be during the throwing unit. But what you do is you try to knock the mat over. If you knock the mat over, your team has to go to the side, do, I think, 10 or 20 jump ins and outs, and then they can go back to their stations and set it back up. Now you need obviously huge mats for that. This is called boom ball, another throwing game. You take a big exercise ball or a beach ball. You have 2 teams, and they're trying to get the ball to the other side. You see those cones right here? You're trying to get that ball to go across that cone. Now the cone isn't going to be where the other team is throwing. You might have the cone a little bit ahead. These are just quick examples. Instructor-led stretching is always easy to teach. Hula hoops are probably the best thing for creating spatial awareness. You can, as a teacher, take those hula hoops and spread them across the floor and say, all right, everyone get in a hula hoop. And magically, everyone has self-space, okay? Now, without those hula hoops, you tell people to just scatter, and they just look at you like, where do you want me to scatter, right? So that's why it's important sometimes to have things on the ground. Maybe it's mats. It can be a carpet square if you can't afford mats or hula hoops. So there's always ways, even if you don't have a lot of money for your budget, to create these self spaces. So here, you can just practice going side to side. You can do scissors. You can go around the hoop. You can go over the hoop, right? All those pathways that we talked about. I could tell them that I want them to go in and out of the hoop using low levels, so they have to get really low and go inside the hoop and get back. So that's why that sheet really would help. So now he's going around, sidestep. So this is just, so this would be relationships. This would be, let's see, where do I have it here? Meeting and parting. So what they do is they meet and they throw a bag to each other, and then they move back a little bit. Okay, so they're meeting and parting. So if you catch it, you get to go a little bit further back. So jumping and landing. Noodles are probably one of the best things for elementary students for manipulative skills. So you have manipulative skills and non-manipulative skills. So manipulating, like you're actually touching a piece of equipment. Just balancing on your hand that noodle, having everyone try that, trying it in the middle, trying to balance it on your foot, trying to balance it on your head, getting on your hands and knees position, trying to crawl with the noodle on your back, trying to balance on the noodle. And I know that Dr. Chris has all the equipment in the world too. So beach balls instead of volleyballs, scooters. So this was just some fitness stations for some fourth graders. So toss. This is an easy one. If you have scarves, you face your partner, you both throw it up, and then you switch. So it's just called scarf switch, whatever you want to call it. I like using these balls in elementary school to give them more opportunities. Okay, so that's just a quick little thing. Here's a 4-square jump rope. So I know that he's doing jump rope over there at Cape Fear. One game they may have not played is called 4-square jump rope. You get in a group of 4, and whoever isn't able to go the longest will go out, and then somebody rotates in. Now, this is an elimination game, so this isn't technically something we want to necessarily do all the time. But if you're a good teacher and people don't get their feelings hurt, then it's probably okay. So here's an example of a teacher playing 4-square, and their students are self-leading. And they might have 2 people waiting on the outside, waiting to get in. Same concept, and then you rotate. I actually saw this today. This is called Groundhog Day. So it looks like they run down, grab something, it might be something on the back, and then they run back to their group. Okay, these are just some things that you can put on your walls. Jump rope, jump on board with Heart Heroes. This is called striker ball. You can use your hands, a paddle, or a mini hockey stick. And you just basically take, we have 3, 5 cones here with 5 players, and you get in between the cones, and you're trying to score points in between other people. Okay, so that's an easy game. You could have 4 or 5 groups of students with 5 people in each group. Okay, maybe 1 in the middle and then 4 on the outsides of that multi-purpose room. This is called striker ball. Now, obviously, it's going to be more dangerous with equipment because they might, end up hitting somebody. But fun game. You can use your hands. This is just I call fruit in the middle, whatever in the middle. You go to the middle, dribble your ball back to your group, put the ball in a hula hoop. Call it fruit in the middle. Hungry, hungry hippos. So these are the ages that you'll be working with. So that's why we're looking at it now. So it could be you get a beanbag, you got to balance it on your head. That's a cool one. you gotta jump with the ball in between your feet. So this is a teacher that has some creative ideas. So you can balance a beanbag, dribble back, or bounce the Nerf ball between your knees. So I guess it depends on the object. Yeah, we got people dancing, just doing random things. That's fine. This one, you have to go to the other side of, a lot of games are just try to get to the other side, just doing a different. Now, this one is a paddle and a balloon. You got to go all the way to the one side, and then you got to make it to the other side without the balloon touching the ground. Now, all you would have to do is bring, 30 balloons, right? That's probably going to be a lot. So this might be something that you might not do until you're a full-time teacher. Okay, unless he's like, yeah, I got tons of balloons, whatever you want to do. Like, you got paddles, balloons? All right, Again, if there's too many people in there, it might be too much. Here's an example of elementary age kids playing pickleball. Anyone ever play pickleball? Okay. Showing you that elementary kids can Good form. That overarm form there. Those are some good hits. Ooh. Oh. It's fun. Okay, here's like a spike ball. So spike ball modified. See how they made the spike ball with the hula hoop and the cones? So being creative again, getting a group of 4 or 5, and maybe you have to bump it like 3 or 4 times until it goes in the middle. You could have teams, or you could work as a group. And these I've all retweeted because I'm very active on Twitter when it comes to phys ed. Here's another cool game. We got scattered hula hoops. Looks like they have to go to their cone. They have to try to toss. It could be an ultimate disc. Obviously, with elementary age students, you want the foam disc probably. You could do bean bags. You could have a partner. You see how they all started a cone? You could have partners at a cone, and you could throw a football to someone that's in one of the hoops. And then if they catch the ball, you could go back and bring the hoops. And the goal would be to try to get all the hoops to all the cones. Okay? These videos specifically, I would just open up a Twitter account. Or, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would just open up a Twitter account and just follow Jordan Weber. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're recording this right now, so you'll be able to go back. My first class, the audio wasn't on, so nothing recorded. So that's why I have my iPad out. So all this will be recorded, okay? But I would just open up a Twitter account and you can follow me at Jordan Weber 84. You can do hashtag elementary PE, and you'll find a lot of stuff. Okay, this is called Switch. Oh, this is a cool game. I think y'all would like to play this game. So you have to pass it to your teammate. You have to get 2, maybe 3 or 4 passes, and then once you get 2 or 3 or 4 passes, you have to try to knock over the cone while the other person is trying to defend the cone. Okay. I'll just call that pin in the middle. They call this, I'm not sure what they call it. And then you'll notice that you'll have a lot of these teachers, they'll even tell you what standard they're hitting. And these are all national or state standards. Okay, here's another example of how to use noodles or any type of object. You got to go grab, maybe it's clean up the trash with chopsticks. Okay. I think I invented this game though. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, obstacles. You could have 3 lines of obstacles, 3 groups of maybe 10. You could have them perform this whole entire obstacle. You could have them go around the cones, zigzag. So this would be 4th grade, just pass and catch. One person goes, one person throws. This is a really good game if you're doing throwing skills outside. Indoors, it's probably a little bit harder. Light the tree, trying to get all the balls inside of the tree that's made by hula hoops, using the underhand tossing skill. More obstacles. Football flag tag, so everyone has flags and a ball. I'm not sure what happens if your flag gets taken, but it's just an idea. Maybe if your flag gets taken, you got to take whatever flag you got and put it in somewhere, and then maybe there's one way to get back in. Maybe that's doing some type of workout. I know this is pretty popular. Teams making these hula hoop, houses, and then practicing cooperative and group skill learning. So this would be the affective domain. How well do you work with a group? Underhand throw. just back and forth with your partner, pretty basic. Even though it's basic, they probably still don't do enough of it, right? Just throwing and catching, we see it sounds like such an easy skill, but most of the time these kids don't have anyone to go home and actually throw and catch with. So that's why it's really important in PE. Okay, focusing on keeping the eyes up. This looks like they are trying to, let's see, using the volleyball style techniques in an accuracy challenge, using the projector. Bowling is a big deal in elementary school. Kids love to bowl. This is cardio bowling, looks like, where the students, after they roll, have to run down and either pick up the pins or change positions. So other good stuff, tons of good stuff on Twitter. Phys Ed Games on YouTube. They have 57,000 subscribers. Probably make $300 to $400 a month from this YouTube channel. And they have tons of games, target games, fitness game, invasion games. Now, when they teach these games, they do it using a computer. So if you learn better with this type of teaching, then this might help you when you go out there. See if I can hear it. Okay. Phys Ed Games, they have a ton of videos just like that. Minute long, breaks it down. If you're looking for ideas. PE Central, again, another great place. So you can go to lessons. I can go browse by category. I can search grades 3 through 5, K through 2. So if you know you're working with K through 2, I'm going to click K through 2. I know I want to work on body awareness, body space and awareness. Let's find it. Then here's some lessons. So it's so easy to find material. So if you feel unprepared, it means you didn't look. Dynamic PE, ASAP, is another site you can build lessons with. So I can create lessons, activity using hoops, balls, airplanes, animal tag, astronaut exercise. Okay, and it gives you everything. Okay, the student learning outcomes, instructions, teaching hints. And all you do is just copy and paste this into your lesson plan. No one's going to be looking at your lesson plan and going, oh, you copied and pasted that from PE Central. That's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, so copy and paste your stuff into these lesson plans. That's probably the best thing you can do. If you go and just try to make things up, it usually doesn't work. Using the projector, here's getting really animated. I know that they use the projector.
I'd rather have Coke or Pepsi. I love Coke. Looks like I'm going to this
school. Okay. Remember, they start off with a 5 or 10 minute video every class. So what's yours? I'm chocolate. So that means I'm doing arm circles, okay? These are types of videos that you could try to create, in your PE classes. It gives them choice, which is always important. We know that choice increases learning output, okay, instead of just saying one choice only. And then Long Beach State Adapted PE. They also create 30 to 40 minute videos. It's for adapted population. So if you're working with people with disabilities, there's always going to be an option of the students seated. So if you're looking for how do I create adapted or modified PE lessons for elementary level, I would look at Long Beach State APE Online, because they have tons of videos where they're going to have one person seated and one person standing. Okay? So that way, when you plan your lesson plans, if somebody comes in and they have a broken leg, they can still perform all the upper body movements. Okay? So YouTube, check out Long Beach State. Fix and Play, this looks like another person who's created a lot of different videos that might be fun. Tons of videos. So you could always just say, hey, I got a video we're going to watch, and then we're also going to perform some spatial awareness skills. Dynamic PE, ASAP, free lessons. PE Central, free lessons. Phys Ed Games, free lessons. Okay? All right. So that was just kind of a little, I guess, overview of some different games you can perform, or where you can get your ideas from. We're going to go ahead and talk about space awareness, relationships, and effort for the rest of class, and we're going to start getting up and moving. If if you selected yes on any of the Part Q questions, don't worry about it. You can just observe when we get started. So you have this document